What is up, everybody? I'm Mike Somich coming at you for RacingDudes.com, and we are back to preview Day 5 of Ascot. It's our final day of racing. Day 4 was phenomenal, had a lot of absolutely stellar performances, including Inspire was just absolutely amazing to watch run. We're going to cover the 3 stakes we've got here on Day 5 of Ascot. We've got some exciting ones with some big-time horses running, so it's going to be a fun little preview here. So without further ado, let's jump into the stakes. All right, our first race of the day is the Group 3 Jersey Stakes. We've got 15 3-year-olds headed to the stalls, and your favorite is going to be the 9-horse Noble Truth, sitting on the board at 3-1 for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. So the horse deserves to be the favorite, coming off a really nice effort, getting 111 time form rating last time out in the Betfair King Charles II Stakes. This horse is 3 for 8 lifetime, should really appreciate the 7 furlongs. Every single race has been run there, except for the Saudi Derby. That tells you a lot about what Charlie Appleby thinks about this horse. The fact he decided to send this one over and see if we could get some points for the Kentucky Derby. Clearly thinks this horse should be highly rated, and the breeding is absolutely phenomenal. This is a son of Kingman out of a Frankel mare, so should be able to love this turf over at Ascot. The 9-horse, your favorite, Noble Truth, I think is going to be awfully tough. But there's a couple others in here that I think are worth talking about. First off, the 6th horse, the horse DeBowie Legend. Yes, that DeBowie Legend that was in the U.S. for the Breeders' Cup and that fiasco with Modern Games winning. DeBowie Legend was in the 13 post that day. It was impossible to win from the 13 post at Del Mar going a mile over Breeders' Cup weekend the way that track was playing. And to make it worse, DeBowie Legend broke out, lost a couple of lengths, rushed up into the top 4 or 5, never able to get to the rail, and ends up running a pretty disappointing 10th considering who was left into that field. Now, the next race out at Newmarket, first out as a 3-year-old, wasn't good. It was the Corvus race. We talked about this race a couple times now, but if you go back to their start before Del Mar, runs a 101 time form rating as a 2-year-old. If DeBowie Legend can find that form again, 10-1 is a very, very square price on DeBowie Legend. Also in this race, the 8-horse, Monada. This is a horse that we've seen twice this year, run both times on synthetic. You do have a grass effort first time out as a 2-year-old. Horse is undefeated at 3 for 3. You're getting 7-1 for Shadwell Stables. This horse makes a ton of sense, again, if we can improve off the last start. Now, the fact we haven't touched turf is definitely something that's a little bit of something you got to take a step back on, but I still like the 7-1 price. I'm going to be using this horse underneath. Finally, the 4-horse Audience, I think, makes a ton of sense here. This is a John Gosden, Ryan Moore horse. This horse has run second the last 2 times, both times as the favorite with improving time form numbers. Now we're getting third off the layoff, third out as the 3-year-old. And if we can kind of get back to improving off of those numbers and take a step forward off that 2-year-old number that we put up, then Audience makes a ton of sense here at 15-1. Ran second to Monda last time out as well. So I like the fact that we're flipping from 80 cent on the dollar favorite to 15-1 in this spot. I think you're getting a much better price here on the 4-horse Audience. Our second stakes race on the card is the 3rd race of the day. This is the Group 2 Hardwicke Stakes, and we are going to be in for a treat here. So probably one of the top 10 horses in training is in here. Hurricane Lane sitting on the board at 3-5. Charlie Appleby, William Buick. Get used to hearing those connections. Hurricane Lane is an absolute monster. Last time we saw this horse was in the Grade 1 Arc de Triomphe. Horse was the $3 favorite in that 14-horse field. Ends up running 3rd. Tanao ran 2nd in that spot. Prior to that race, had run back-to-back Group 1s all over the country. 1 in Ireland, 1 in France, 1 in Great Britain. So just dominating all of Europe here from Hurricane Lane. This is going to be the first out as a 4-year-old. And that's a key. The first time this horse faced older was in that Arc de Triomphe. Again, ran 3rd there, ran absolutely huge. If this horse can improve off that effort, it is going to be very, very, very difficult to beat Hurricane Lane since no one has a time form rating in this race that is as high as Hurricane Lane does. There are some interesting horses in here, though. We've got the 2-horse Broom, who's going to go to the gate for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. Broom, you'll have known, ran 2nd at Del Mar, going 1.5 miles in the Breeders' Cup Turf. This is actually my pick in that race, and your beer absolutely ran huge in that spot. Got a 104 buyer that day. Came back, ran the Grade 1 Japan Cup, didn't do that much. First off the layoff as a 6-year-old, went 1.25 miles over good turf in Ireland, and was okay, but not great. The key with Broom is if you point back to races that fit here at 1.5 miles, Broom has a very good shot to be competitive. Last time we saw it 1.5 miles here at Ascot, ran 4th in that race was Mischief and Love, 2 very, very good horses. So I like Broom in this spot. 5-1's a little bit short. You're going to have to improve to be able to get to Hurricane Lane. So for me, Broom's either an underneath play or someone that I'm not going to include in that exacta because I'm going to want a little bit bigger of a price. As we get to the bigger prices, the 8-horse Third Realm I think is really interesting. This is a 4-year-old. This is the son of See the Stars. It's going to be 3rd off the layoff as a 4-year-old. Third Realm has the opportunity to improve, and this horse ran a 120 time form last time out. 125 is Hurricane Lane's highest time form as a 3-year-old. You could see Third Realm getting up there. And if for some reason Hurricane Lane doesn't fire, Third Realm makes a lot of sense here, sitting on the board at 8-1. And finally, let's go to the 6th horse, Most Taif, who is 12-1 in this spot for John Gosselin and John Crowley. This is a horse with last 2 races going 1.25 miles, has never gone 1.5 miles before, but you can see that they're clearly building the stamina, pointing for this spot. The horse should have no issue getting the 1.5 miles. This is a son of Frankie out of a DeBowie mare, so wonderfully bred here. Should absolutely love Ascot, should absolutely love the distance. I like this horse quite a bit underneath. I'm probably going to play some cold exactas with Hurricane Lane, the 3, and the 6, Most Taif, in second. Hopefully we can get that price home in second. I'll have a little bit the other way around as well. I'll be playing tries with these 4 horses. All right, our final race of the day here is the Grade 1 Platinum Jubilee. This is a sprint, 6 furlongs, 4-year-olds and up, $1.4 million in the purse. It drew 27 horses to the barrier, so you got a huge field here, and it is headlined by 2 absolute superstars. First off, Home Affairs. We've got another Australian invader. Australia 1-for-1 currently here. Home Affairs comes in, earned over $1.7 million in his career so far, and 4-for-9 lifetime, has 2 absolutely monster numbers run over in Australia that are most likely better than the rest of this field, but he's got some stiff competition here. Currently sitting at 5-2 on the board for Home Affairs. To his inside, the 20 horse, Campanelle. It's the U.S. contingent. Probably our best chance to get a win here after what happened to Golden Pal. Wesley Ward-trained Ortiz is currently listed in the irons. We'll have to see if he actually ends up in the irons after he got those 5 days from the stewards. Campanelle's done absolutely nothing wrong here in 2022. She is 5-for-8 lifetime and gets a nice little weight allowance here because it is a filly trying the boys. Campanelle finished won here at Ascot as a 2-year-old in the Queen Mary Stakes, so she does have experience over the turf. Now, that was with Dettoria. He's ridden her both times that she has been here at Ascot, and she is 2-for-2 at Ascot, so she likes the course, but it's Irad Ortiz today, not Frankie Dettori, which we saw make a big difference with U.S. horses when they're riding with U.S. jockeys versus these international jockeys. Another horse that's going to probably take some money is the 10 horse Grandier Guards. I bring this up simply because this is the only Japanese horse we have here at Ascot this year. We've seen a big time push from that Japanese contingent in the Middle East and then here in the Breeders' Cup in the U.S. Now we're going to see Grandier Guards take on the top tier sprinters in the world here at Ascot. So keep an eye on the 10 horse Grandier Guards. I'm not going to use this horse, but I wanted to make sure I at least mentioned it. The 15, Kinross, is one that I am interested in here. So this is where you're going to find Dettori. He has ridden this horse a few times, including a win to kind of kick off the 4-year-old or in the middle of the 4-year-old season for this son of Kingsman. This is second off a layoff as a 5-year-old. Last race ran well, but not wonderful. But that was clearly a prep to step up into this Group 1 competition. I think Kinross is awfully live, sitting on the board at 20-1. A horse who I find intriguing as well is the 24 horse Scared for the William Haggis barn. This is the first off the layoff filly who is going to be running in here. We have not seen her since August 14, 2021. A very aggressive spot to place her in. She had time for numbers that were consistently getting better and better and better. And she ran second to Campanelle back in that Queen Mary Stakes, that grade Group 2 that we discussed, that Campanelle won over this Ascot turf. I'm going to highlight 2 more here. So first off, the 17 Naval Crown, 20-1, Charles Appleby, John Doyle, really good connections here. Last time we saw this horse was in the UAE in the Al-Qais Sprint, as Group 1 there, ran 4th to a couple of these in here. I think this horse has a chance to take a step forward. And if this horse takes a step forward, Noble Crown makes a ton of sense in this spot. But Noble Crown does need to improve. I'm more using Naval Crown underneath than I am on top, but I think the 17 Naval Crown makes some sense. And finally, the 1 horse, A Case of You, is the only horse that has any time form numbers in his back form that can compete with the Australian contingent in here. A Case of You was able to win the Al-Qais Sprint at Group 1 overseas or in the UAE. Got a 124 for that number. The numbers that you're seeing out of Australia are 125, 128. So I think A Case of You at 15-1 is interesting if you want to take a shot against the 13 Home Affairs. To me, this is a really, really tough betting race. I don't really want to take 5-2 on anyone in a 27-horse field, but man, the other day when we saw that Australia contingent go out and absolutely blow the doors off the field, is wildly impressive. This is a horse that's not quite as highly thought of, but it's still one of the better sprinters in Australia. I think it's going to be awfully tough to beat the 13 Home Affairs. If Irad's on Campanelle, I'm probably going to try and fade Campanelle at 5-1 and try and get some of these prices in. I like A Case of You at 15-1. I like Naval Crown at 20-1. And I like the 15-horse Kinross at 20-1 as well. Thanks for checking out the Day 5 Ascot preview. Make sure you check out all the videos here on Racing Dude's YouTube page. I'll see you at the track.